Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of SubCulture. I am Sammy Joe, and tonight we have an incredible episode. I am so excited about it. First of all, the episode is going to kick off with Joe Lacera. Many of you follow him on Instagram. He's always putting out incredible content. He is the 2020 Mr. America Classic Physique Champion, and he is also the ANBF Kings Cup pro bodybuilding champion, and he will be defending that title in less than 2 weeks now, or almost 2 weeks. So we're going to talk a little bit about that and just his overall progression from men's physique to pro bodybuilding. And then you guys have to stay tuned because we do have a very special guest, a guest host that's going to be jumping in, and you guys are going to be surprised, blown away, and you're not going to want to miss it. So let me go ahead and bring Joe in. There we go. Hello, my friend.
Hey, Sammy, what's going on?
How are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. I'm so excited about this episode. This is one of the few where I actually took some good notes, and I have a plan to follow. So it's going to be great. Now, I did just mention the ANBF Kings Cup, which is coming up here real quick. How are you feeling about that show?
Not this Saturday, next Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm actually really excited for the show, for a multitude of reasons, but kind of the main reason, it didn't really hit me that hard until you posted actually the real mashup to kind of hype up this vodcast that we're doing, where it was my intro where I came out in the bodybuilding trunks. And it was a surprise to a lot of people because they expected me in classic physique because that was my division that I was defending for Mr. America. So bodybuilding was kind of a surprise from last year, and seeing that reel, not only gets you fired up because when you see stage content as a competitor, you get excited to compete again, even seeing other people on stage, let alone yourself from previously. But looking at that physique, knowing I already have surpassed that, I've already won. I've already beaten myself, because as a competitor, all you can really control is what you look like and what you show up looking like. So knowing, I looked at that and said, wow, that was a year ago. Okay, I'm already past that. That's great. It's a great feeling to know that I've, surpassed that, and I'm going to be bringing something better than last time. So
with on that note, I'm gonna take a full flashback to that day for you, real quick. 2-minute package.
Awesome.
We're going right back. Here we go.
Hey, now we're here with the champ, Mr. America, at the ANBF Kings Classic. How we doing, brother?
Oh, we're feeling good today. We're feeling good. We got a little surprise to the people today. So, well, I am Mr. Classic Physique America. I am donning the tiny trunks today, too. Dabbling into bodybuilding a little bit today, too, just to, branch out a little bit and, and really test myself and see, if I can hang with the big boys. So
this is another one. Are you doing classic and bodybuilding today?
Classic and bodybuilding today, my brother. Absolutely.
Okay. Did we bring any board shorts?
No board shorts today. No, I had to retire those.
I think I got some board shorts in the car.
God bless. Oh, we can see you hop on stage right now. No, Get some tan on this, man.
Get some tan on this, man. We see the vacuum.
Are we doing the vacuum shot?
Yes.
Are we doing that right now?
That's a vacuum. Okay, brother. Gonna wish you tons of luck out there. Can't wait to see you perform.
Thank you, brother.
Let's go check.
There it is. The bodybuilding debut.
Seriously. God, it was I don't know, it feels like yesterday and so long ago at the same time.
How do I always get the best front row seats?
Honestly. Best quality, best front row seat. And it is just crazy looking back on this, just knowing, all I'm sitting here saying right now is, wow, I can't wait to show the improvements that I made. That's really what I'm excited about at this point. It's just to get up there and show improvements. Oh, and I got another fun routine coming, that's for sure.
Yeah. Well, we have Eric Murphy in the comments, and he says, I cannot wait to see Joe's posing routine.
Eric, I'm gonna have to try to battle all the men's physique guys for best presenter. I know Devin's in classic, and you got Eric in men's physique, and Izelle and Chris. There's a lot of good presenters coming to the show, so crowd better be ready for some insane stage presentations. And honestly, I love this because this is our chance to give back to the crowd and, make it a show for them. Because oftentimes this is what the crowd really gets to see. I mean, prejudging, they may understand it, they may not. They see comparison rounds, but this is your chance to connect with the audience, which, that's your give back to them. I always look at comparisons, and prejudging is for, that's for the judges. That's where you're getting scored. And even though this is scored with the AMBF, which I do love, this is your chance to have some fun and say thank you to the crowd for showing up.
Absolutely. You're right. And in this venue, the crowd, it's such an
awesome.
intimate venue. Yeah, the crowd is just so into it.
Yeah, it really is electric. The sound travels really well. The sound carries. The crowd's super loud. The lights are perfect. I love the black backdrop because it really makes for awesome photos. I don't know if I can do that this year, though, with new muscle. So we're going to find out. We're going to find out if that's still possible or not.
Please don't try.
Yeah, no, that's an adrenaline moment. That either happens or it doesn't. So we'll stay tuned for that one.
Yes. And we have Devin Baker. He's actually in the comments. Yeah. He says whoever wins the best entertainer award is going to earn it.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, we have a lot of good stage presentations coming to this show, which is going to be awesome.
Yes. Now, okay, so let's talk about this because Chris Sproul kind of hit on that really quick when you guys did that interview. Men's physique. You started in men's physique. What year did you start competing?
So actually, my very first couple of shows were back in the NPC in 2014. I did teen physique division. So in 2014, I'm 19, and it was more so just the. A couple people at a local gym, around. It was actually the gym my father worked out at Mount Laurel, New Jersey. And, it was just people saying, oh, you should try it. You should try it. Why not, hop on stage? And that was really where my first stage experience came from. And then it wasn't until a couple of years later when I, started doing more research on, okay, now, if I'm really going to get into this competitively, what makes the most sense for me as a young competitor, really trying to, wanting to do well and wanting to have a competitive platform that makes sense. And that's where I started to, find natural drug tested organizations. And then, that's where kind of the rest sort of takes off from there.
Now, okay, so yes, that you like you said, that's where it kind of takes off from there. So you actually have gone through men's physique, classic physique, and now you're hitting the pro bodybuilding stage. And we know there is no going back. Which you
there's no going backwards for sure. No going backwards, and it's I don't look at it as much as going backwards per se. That's kind of the wrong way, I guess, to say it. It's more so in a sense of my physique has changed as the years went on, and my interests and my desires sort of changed within the sport. With starting with men's physique, it was obviously with those teen shows, and that was it. It was kind of just back in 2014 there wasn't classic physique offered, so it was bodybuilding or men's physique. So it was men's physique for me. And a lot of the early influencers I found, saying, oh, I want to look like that guy or this guy, were in men's physique back then. So it was kind of the division I gravitated towards starting out because it looked like something, because I didn't know any better from a natural enhanced side of things, as a lot of people do when they first get into the sport. And then when I found the natural drug tested side of things, it's just kind of where I stayed for a couple of years because I was already there. It's like, okay, you do.
Oh, wait a minute. Did we lose Joe? He'll be right back. But you're right. Oh, there he is.
I'm back. Yep.
He's back. Like Devin said, you evolved. Which is...
Yeah, it was just an evolution over time.
Now, let's be honest. Has your heart always been? Because I feel like it has always been in bodybuilding.
Cheekily, yes. You I guess you could say that because even, in my presentation T-walks for men's physique, I think there's actually a picture. Yeah, actually, this will be. Hold on, give me one sec.
Ooh, we like pictures. We love pictures.
This is one that the wife had framed, actually. So this is, back in the men's physique days of me hitting a double bicep on stage in my individual presentation. So you're right. It was always there. It was just, I guess, I guess part of it was confidence, just and wanting to build my physique up enough to be competitive in those divisions,
Mm-hmm.
because I could obviously see them with my own two eyes, watching the prejudging for bodybuilding or for a classic physique class. And I didn't want to just do something just to do it. I wanted to, if I'm going to compete in a class, I want to look like I belong there and feel like I'm really competitive for it. So it was, I guess just evolution over time. But like you said, the bodybuilder is within all of us, and I say that all the time. Regardless of what division a competitor may choose, we're all bodybuilders at the end of the day. It's all
Yeah.
for the love of the sport. And I like actually, the division mobility of things. I think everybody should, especially an amateur competitor coming up, I always encourage them, if they're on the fence about divisions, do both.
Sure.
Try both. Try all three. If you're a male competitor, if you're a female, try every division that's offered, and you can get judges' feedback. And that's also what helped me learn and grow as well, is getting judges' feedback and being able to, you know, get their perspective on where they like your body or where they see you fit. And
Mm-hmm.
that was kind of, again, what kind of led me knocking to this point, is just getting several points of feedback saying, you kind of need to, give it a shot,
Right.
go up and see what happens. And now I'm now I'm in pro bodybuilding. So
Right. And
here we are.
I always remember Kent Beerley being like, get into the tiny shorts, like he was always pushing you to get into those, move up. So can like hear him saying that to you.
I do, and
So
I have to thank him big time. Honestly, he's been him amongst many others, but him in particular has been a big mentor in the sport for me, and somebody that, obviously a multi-decade pro bodybuilding champion, and someone I definitely look up to in that regard. And it's cool now to be competing in the same division as him. Like, it's kind of a surreal moment. But he, even back in men's physique, or when I dabbled in classic physique, he was always nudging me to bodybuilding, saying, when you going to join me, when you going to join me, when you going to join me. And I shrugged him off for a little while, and then finally gave it a go. And
yeah.
now the bugs really got me. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I want to bring up another thing here. Being a bodybuilder, that is, the whole sport is a lifestyle, but like you said, you have seen incredible growth just from last year to now. So let's talk about that. Let's talk about like the focus and just the consistency that type of growth takes as a natural bodybuilder. And I'm going to throw this out there. Let's talk about your notebook.
mm-hmm. Yes, the infamous logbook that always goes on my stories. So I'll really say that I didn't start the consistent logging on the notebook side of things, like with my composition notebook and things like that, until let's say spring of 2020,
Okay.
on the lockdown side of things.
Okay.
Because one of the things that really happened for me during the lockdown is, I'm a gym owner, so gym was shut down. So for 3, 4, 5, I can't even remember how long it was. We were offering some virtual stuff for our members, or we were trying to do this and that, trying to do what everybody was doing, just trying to do something. But with all of the spare time on my hands, I honestly attribute that time as to when I became a bodybuilder, per
Gotcha.
se. And not that I wasn't practicing bodybuilding lifestyle habits before. I mean, the meal prep and training hard and everything like that, but just doing so much research in that time frame, just kind of figuring out, and then trial and erroring things as well. I was blessed and fortunate enough that, still being a gym owner, I was able to train. So that was a huge plus, and I'm very grateful for that I was still able to train through it. But I was able to learn a lot about myself and a lot about what works for my body, which is
Mm-hmm.
more of a lower volume style of training, higher intensity, where, it's very predicated on logbook progressions and things like that. Because before that, I was just kind of, okay, what feels good? All right, we're doing chest today. Let's look around the
Right.
room and pick out these exercises. And that's great. And that was a great place to get me to a certain level. But for me then to progress beyond that, I had to dig a little deeper, and I had
Yeah.
to,
So that's
become a little bit more diligent with things, and it paid off big time. This is like, I
I
almost saw like another leap in, gains that, people say, oh, you're not supposed to see that type of progression, years down the road in your training. But I'm, a big believer in that things can be optimized to where you can still, later on in your quote unquote career. I mean, I know I'm still a young guy, but I've been working out and training for about a decade now. So it's not like I'm a newbie to the gym, but
Right.
once you figure out how to tinker things for you, and I'm still trying to, optimize that, but it's honestly about one of the big things is just getting in there and trial and erroring things, because you have to, in order to figure out what works for you, you have to do something. So
Absolutely.
you have to actually get in there and get your hands dirty and then realize what's right and what's wrong.
So lots of learning, lots of new tools being added to your toolbox, the notebook being one of them, and you're starting to definitely see those results. And we're going to get to see those results because we have the ANBF. I'm actually just going to throw up the website right here, because everyone's going to want to tune in not this Saturday, but next Saturday to the ANBF website, because it will be live streamed. Lance does a fantastic live stream. And like you said, it's going to be exciting. There's going to be a lot of entertainers on stage, including yourself. So I want everyone to join in and watch and get involved with the live chat. I think there is a live chat, but that we all have fun and we all connect that way. So definitely tune into that, and it's free. So we're going to get to see there, and we're going to get to see you on Mr. America again, right? The stage. And that will truly be you and Kent battling it out.
And that's surreal to me, honestly. And to be doing, the pro bodybuilding class at Mr. America, which is, kind of what started it all.
Yeah.
It used to only be bodybuilding, and now I'm going to be competing in the category that spearheaded the whole thing. Not
awesome.
That, classic physique or any other category is diminished in any sense, but
just
sort of it just sort of touches like a different nerve, knowing that, okay, this is like, this is what started it all. And now I'm part of a class that did it. So it's, honestly leaves me kind of speechless. I'm super excited, because last year there was, obviously a lot going on with, the classic physique thing. There was the TV side to things.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's sort of a different year. I'm going in with a much more, open mind to things, and it's less, it's obviously less pressure,
right.
because it's
I can see that.
Kind of the new kid on the street. And I'm just, I'm here to have fun. I'm here to have a good time and just have a blast up there.
Yeah, and I'm literally going just as a fan this year, because I don't want to miss it. So I can't wait. Now, I'm going to throw this question out there. What is something that you would, because like you said, you've been doing this now for a decade. What is some advice you would give to a young upcoming athlete who's looking at natural bodybuilding? And actually, you know what? Wait a second. Hold on. I'm going to actually bring in our guest host. Hold on.
Surprise, surprise.
All right, I would like to introduce tonight's special guest host, David. He has just been awarded the youngest competitor to date. He is only 14 years old, and he competes in the classic physique division. All right, let's welcome David to the show.
Hey, Joe. How's it going?
Hello, David. Welcome to the show.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
So,
hey, man, bro, Mr. America, that's crazy.
Actually, here, let me do this really quick. One of the things I wanted to do is shout out. You did just do your first show not very long ago, and it was the Windy City Natural. I just wanted to give them a quick shout out, and to the promoters there that allowed you to get on their stage and have an amazing time. And I can't even imagine the amount of experience and the amount of natural competitors that you had a chance to interact with. So again, they awarded you their youngest competitor to date award, and I think that is fabulous. So I just wanted to give them a quick shout out. And now I am going to leave it to you guys here. My guest host,
I actually
David.
have it with me right now.
And
let's see that award, man. Let's see it. Let's see the hardware.
Oh yeah, let's see that. Oh wait, back up. Oh wow.
Let's go. I love that. That's so cool.
All right, there we go, guys.
Nice. Dude, that's absolutely phenomenal. Honestly, we were talking about my start previously, and I know you were listening in because you're, in the chat room there, and it's like, dude, you're getting such a head start on this game in general. And as everybody tells me, being a young guy at 27, the natural bodybuilding really is a sport you can do for the long haul. I mean, I joke all the time that I want to see, I want my kids and grandkids to come see me compete, because it's something that does promote long-term health and does promote something you can do for the long haul. So, dude, getting a start at this age is so cool. I'm very excited just to follow along with your journey and see where you go from here. Like, you're just scratching the surface.
Can't wait. We got a lot of work to do.
Absolutely. There's always work to be done, man.
So I don't know if you've touched upon this yet, but how long have you been lifting for since?
So about a decade now. About a decade consistently that I've been lifting. We kind of touched on it a little bit, but I, actually really started to dial things in for myself during the 2020 shutdown of things, because it just gave me a lot of time to do a ton of research. So I would say for the last 2.5 years have been honestly my best years of training. And that's why I was, promote to younger athletes as well, as like, look, you're going to make mistakes in the beginning and you're still figuring things out. Even, me a decade into this, I still feel like I'm learning, and I feel like I need to continue to learn. So the day you stop learning is the day you stop progressing, in my opinion. So always keep learning, and don't be afraid to get in the gym and make some mistakes, because not everything's going to go according to plan, and you're not going to get the perfect plan for you right off the bat. So
as a natty bodybuilder, have you ever had like any like long plateaus?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the plateaus kind of come a bit, I don't want to say a bit more naturally, but it's something that we have to work through, and almost not necessarily a plateau as much, because, in a natural drug-free setting, the gains are going to come at a slower rate. So it is something where you have to practice a lot of good patience. And I think that comes from just developing good habits, whether it's, a gaining phase or an off-season setting where you're trying to grow muscle, as it translates into a dieting phase where you might be prepping for a show. I think it's all just based and built on good habits, and making sure you stick to those good habits, regardless. Obviously, life gets in the way sometimes, and that's okay. And we have to balance all these things together. But having those good habits in place really kind of help you work through those plateaus, because you can always kind of refer back to the good habits that you built upon, your nutrition, your training, and things like that. Just making sure you establish those things early on, and not being afraid to, change things. If you've done something for 3 to 6 months and it's not working the way you want it, well, the definition of insanity is repeating it and expecting a different result. So if you're not getting a result you want after 3 to 6 months, okay, let's assess and try something different.
Good advice.
So I compete in Team Classic, but do you ever recommend for me to switch into novice?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, there's no reason why you can't compete in open. I think you should, compete in as many divisions as possible. And this is for a couple of reasons. The more time and more experience you can get on stage, the better it's going to get. And I actually have a interesting story about this. So when I did my first couple shows, it was with the NPC, with teen men's physique. But then when I finally found natural drug tested shows, I didn't really know what categories to enter. So they had novice and open. So I entered both of them. And in novice, I was beat by a competitor that I turned around and beat in the open class. And you might be thinking that was only 5 minutes later. How did I beat some guy that beat me in the novice? Well, because when I went out novice, I was nervous. I was tight. My posing was off. If you looked at the side-by-side pictures between the novice and the open category, you'd think it's two different bodies, because by the time I got to go backstage, all right, take a breather, take a sip of water, whatever it was, whatever I did, I don't even remember. This is 6 years ago at this point. But when I came back out for the open, I was much more relaxed and much more, just because I had already kind of shook the jitters off. So then I was able to kind of pose better and present myself better. And I was then able to because the class got rejudged, obviously, and I beat someone that beat me 5 minutes ago because I was able to pose a little bit better.
Yeah,
So,
I feel you on that one.
Yeah.
Because my physique changed so much from comparisons to my own routine. I feel like there was some crazy differences.
And the routine, you're nice and relaxed too, because you're the only one on stage. You have your music playing, you're in your element at that point, and you're doing your routine, which is, I would say the routine is just an expression of you and your personality. So that's really your chance to connect with the audience. So I'm sure your personality just came out in the routine, and you were able to just really, connect with that audience as a whole. So I'm sure you were more relaxed when that portion came around. Look at the shades. I love this. That the style points, that's an A+ for me, because I especially with classic physique nowadays, and this is just like a little side note, everybody is doing a lot of those stoic, serious routines to kind of classical music, and that's cool and all, and I get the vibes of it. But to me, it's a little redundant and a little overdone, and
we need more Backstreet Boys. We need more Backstreat Boys.
I love when people put some shades on, or they use a prop, or I know just when people have fun with it, and not saying
like
that you have to go with what your personality
inspired
is.
by Top Gun.
I love that. Yeah, that's so cool. Like, why not just go out there, have fun, and the routine should be an expression of your personality. So if you love Top Gun and that was your thing, why not? Too many people try to copy other routines that they see on the internet. That's the other thing. They'll see somebody do a cool, serious and stoic routine. They'll be like, oh, I want to do what that guy did, but that's not what it should be. It should be something that means something to you. So I love that you exuded your own personality into your routine. I think more people need to get behind that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people with creativity, they could do so much more.
They could. Yeah, I feel like people are leaving a lot on the table when it comes to the routine. And I do love with the ANBF, big shout out to them, because, I'm not sure if the organization that you competed in, if they scored the routine. Sometimes they do it for a best presenter, best presentation, but in the ANBF, your routine gets scored and added on the back end of your prejudging scores. So basically what happens is, let's say you're neck and neck with somebody, and after prejudging, you guys are dead even, and you do a phenomenal routine, he does just a good routine. They're going to give the edge to you because of the routine. So you can basically have an opportunity to earn extra points, which I love, because, it's just the icing on the cake. I mean, I want to do a good routine anyway, to leave a good impression with the crowd, to leave a good impression with the judges, because that's how they remember you too. Let's say you show up at a future show, you did an awesome routine, somebody else didn't. They're going to remember you. And that's going to maybe have them look at you a little bit longer the next time you come out for a prejudging, because they already know who you are. They know your personality. And it's just being able to connect with them. And now you get that extra eyeballs on you. You go, oh, that's David from last time. He did that cool Top Gun routine. And then bam, you make a connection right there. So it could
it's human nature.
Judges
it's that
are human.
Part of it. Yeah, it's all about human nature at the end of the day.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was this great guy I met backstage. I don't remember his name, but he goes by the Predator or something. He got
Brandon,
like this nickname.
Yeah.
And he wears this mask every year. I think he wears a different one. But I thought that was really cool. And
his routines are incredible.
He definitely has his own thing, and he's definitely rocking that.
Yeah, and I love that. And that's just, again, him putting his own personality on it. And we may even not be able to identify his name, but I'm sure when you say, oh, the guy with the Predator mask, now everybody knows who you're talking about. So he made an impression, and sometimes leaving an impression on people is, leaving that good impression is what it is. Yeah.
I have a question. So talking about being backstage, you're 14 years old, you're backstage at a bodybuilding show. And mind you, that was a fairly large show. What was the culture like back there for you? Like, what did you expect, and what did you encounter from all of these like adult athletes backstage?
Honestly, it was amazing. Like, just to see all these different competitors, different classes, and people all like prepping their own way. Like, we had some people that were just like quiet. They were just all to themselves. And then there was some people that were just like, they were setting up their own camp and like talking to everyone. They were making like a ton of friends and stuff. But I came to backstage at 7:00 and I went on at 12. So I was back there for a while. So I was able to talk to a lot of competitors. Like, there's this one really cool dude. I think he competed in men's physique. I think his name was Ahmed. It was his first show as well. So I made a lot of cool connections.
Wow. Yeah, you do. You do. And then that's one of the things that I think Joe and I can both agree that we love about natural bodybuilding is the connections and the relationships that you build. And it is such a small knit community.
Absolutely. Yeah. The friendships that you make backstage are ones that will stick with you for life. And it may be people that you only either see once a year or you just talk to on social media. But, you know, even the best we try to explain it, sometimes, friends or coworkers or general family, they can't quite fully grasp everything that goes into the sport, because I always say to people that bodybuilding is a very 24/7 endeavor.
And that
It's not like
kind
another sport where you
goes,
go to practice or you go and then you go home.
Yeah, it's so funny because right before my show, our homecoming game came up, and everybody's like, "Where you at?" I'm like, "I'm getting a spray tan. I'm doing a show," and they're like, "I don't believe you."
No, it's a
Honestly, there's a
different
lot of
sport.
things I had to change to get where I'm at now.
Yeah, no, it's the camaraderie backstage is unmatched. Like I said, everybody, we can all kind of relish in it together because everybody understands the hard work that went into the endeavor to even be there standing backstage. This sport is the biggest privilege I could ever find, because it's such a tough physical endeavor to get to where, we need to be for the stage, that, like I said, when we're all backstage together, we can all sort of relish in all the hard work and all just sort of take a breather together. And oftentimes backstage, I'm not talking to competitors about bodybuilding. We may reference, oh, we're doing this show or that show later on in the season. But then we're talking about what we're going to eat afterwards. We're talking about, all sorts of random stuff, like, funny stuff that happened to us during prep, like, oh, my dog did this or, whatever. And we just sort of chill out and relax. And then it's like, oh, we get to go on stage and pose too. That's pretty cool, So it's just the camaraderie is honestly unmatched in bodybuilding, unlike any other sport I've come across.
Yeah, it's really crazy. Like my road to the show was really bumpy. Like I signed up before I even joined a gym. Like
Really? No,
yeah, and then
actually, let's go into so what made you say I'm gonna compete in a bodybuilding show? Like, what was the deciding factor that said, like, at 14 I'm gonna do this?
it's something I've always wanted to do. Like since I started my fitness journey, I learned all my workouts through like fitness influencers,
Mhm.
and a lot of my favorite fitness influencers are like bodybuilders. So I took a lot of inspiration from them.
Okay, that's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and
like
so I
you didn't even have a gym membership yet, though, when you said you
yeah
signed up. So like you signed up so this show was just at the end of August, right?
yeah
So when did you put your entry in?
I put my entry in a few months before.
And you didn't even
So
have the gym membership yet.
yeah,
What
in
were you
fact,
just doing, like push-ups and pull-ups in your room? Like what?
yeah, and
I love that.
right before the show, right around the end of my prep, I went on vacation where I was not eating the best, but I was still like putting in effort. I was still working out. But right when I got back, I got COVID.
Oh my God.
So I had to quarantine, and lockdown did not help. I wasn't able to lift,
No, I was gonna
wasn't
say
able to
then
like diet.
and you're sick. Like it's like
And I ended up actually pulling out of the show. I wasn't gonna compete. But I got an email from the show promoter, Brian McCabe,
mhm.
and he kind of like motivated me to get back and just push hard for these past like 1 or 2 weeks. And even worse, 6 days out, it's my birthday. And I had
Oh,
to refuse all the cookies, all the
oh, that
birthday
hurts.
things people wanted to do with me. It was
That hurts, dude. I remember all the times it was just, just holiday and birthday refusals and things that you just have to kind of turn away to and know that they're going to be there on the other side of it. But man, in the moment when you're, when you first start, that's a hard one to do, because a lot of people don't
it was worth
understand what
it
you're
though.
doing, you know. They're still new to it. If it's your first time through, now
Yeah.
I'm a bit blessed. I go to a family barbecue. My family knows I bodybuild, so if I pull out a Tupperware container, they don't ask questions. So they're almost kind of trained at this point to know, okay, he's on his game. He didn't grab a plate, but you being a first time competitor, being so young, especially the younger generation, they might not be able to comprehend. Like, wait, why can't you still have a cookie and compete next week. Like, you're shredded, you're fine. I'm sure they tried to convince you otherwise. Like, oh, you're lean enough, you're good. But you have to keep that strong mindset. So power to you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really funny because like now I feel like the fitness industry is just like it's in my mind now. Like I walk past in school, we got these thick door frames.
Hmm.
Sometimes like in between passing periods, I just hop up and I just do some pull-ups.
I love it. Wherever you can get it in, man. Wherever you can
Yeah.
get it in. No, that's awesome. And it really sounds like you've made it a part of your lifestyle,
Yeah.
and that it was something that actually means something to you. It wasn't just, kind of on a whim, where it was somebody that pushed you to do a show. It was something that you said, I really want to do this. And this is like a life goal that I want to check the box. And it sounds like the bugs caught you. It sounds like you're hooked at this point. So you got anything else coming up this year, or what's
I know
happening? What's
sure
next?
I'm gonna do the same show next year.
Absolutely.
But I want to get big, so I don't want to stay lean too long. I want to bulk up so I can do better next year. But
yeah.
what shows come up this year, I'm not sure yet.
So here's a sentiment on that, and this is something that I get asked a lot, and I'm kind of somewhat of an anomaly in somebody that competes more because you'll see a lot of natural bodybuilders take years off in between shows, and they'll take 2 to 3 year off seasons. And what I will say is that time spent dieting is time spent not growing. So that's just a fact, So it's like, if you're not growing, or if you're dieting, you're not growing, and vice versa. It's kind of one or the other. Once you get kind of past the newbie stage of body recomposition and things like that, it's you have to pick a fork in the road. And what I'll say on that is it has to be for what you love. And I know consciously in my head that if I was to take more time off in between years, so I've been competing every year since 2016. If I was to take more time off, my physique would definitely be better the next time I step on stage. That's just a fact, because I would have more time spent in a growth phase. But when you think about growth phase, first of all, from a natural standpoint, your genetics are a lot of pre-indicator of that. And, it's rare for, a natural person to be super large anyway. So your frame is your frame, and you're going to fill it out over time. But the reason why I compete frequently year after year is because I love it. And I'm not about to sacrifice a 2 to 3 year off season for my love of getting on stage. So it's something you have to weigh personally. So a lot of people will take that time off because they know it's going to lead to a better result on the back end. And that's just an investment, I look at it as, that you have to make. So while I may be making shorter investments and sort of cashing in on those more frequently, it's because I love to compete, and I don't like to miss out on stage time because I love to do it. The process of competing is just fun to me. So yes, going year to year, I'm making smaller improvements than that if I took a 2 to 3 year off season and then came back. But that's something that you're going to have to weigh to yourself over time. And you'll hear people tell you one way or another, and that's the problem. Some people will say, oh, you're too young, take more time to build, and they're correct. And you'll also hear another person say, well, if you want to compete, just do it, but they're also correct. It's got to be about what you want first and foremost, and you're going to be the one that has to make that decision, knowing those two sides of the coin, right? So you got kind of the red pill and the blue pill from the Matrix here, and you get to decide which is the best part of it. And there's no right or wrong answer. That's the other thing too. There's no right or wrong answer as far as how often you should compete, when you should compete, how long you should take in between shows. Obviously there's some health components in there. You don't want to stay stage lean for too long, so it's not a blanket statement, but it's got to be for you, man. First and foremost.
As long as you're in this journey, you're always progressing, even if it's not like completely physical. Even if you're getting smaller, it's always the mental part too. Like you're always growing mentally stronger every time you compete. Like these experiences, they make you more confident, make you like just have so much more knowledge about the sport and just in life.
100%.
I learned so much.
The discipline from bodybuilding carries through to everything, man.
Somebody actually asked that in the comments. They said, is there any type of mental training? Is that part of the prep for contests as well?
100%. I mean,
Yeah.
the discipline to, you know, as David talked about, a week out from the, 6 days out from his show, it's his birthday,
Happy
and he has to
birthday.
say, and happy belated, by the way, man. We just
Oh,
passed it
thanks.
a little bit ago, but you have to be, you have to learn how to say no to things. And I look at it from the standpoint of, because I still get people that say it. A lot of people will be like, oh, you can't have this, when they're speaking about a food item. And I'll say, it's not that I can't have it. It's just that I'm choosing not to for a period of time. And then they sort of they don't understand what I mean by that. And it's not that I can't have, a burger right now. It's just that I'm choosing not to because I have a goal that has an end date. And I know that eating that certain food or eating off plan or, missing a training or a cardio, that's going to deter me from reaching my goal. So it's not that I have to train. I get to train because I love to train, and training is going to help me reach my goal. It's not that I can't have that, cookie or ice cream. It's just I'm choosing not to because it doesn't align with my goals at the moment. Sure, am I going to crush some sweets after my shows are done for the year? You're absolutely right. I'm not, not messing up, my holidays or things like that because my shows are going to be done before that. And it's, it's all about perspective. So yes, there's some mental training involved with it, but I think about always flipping that perspective that this whole bodybuilding thing is a privilege. Like, it really is a privilege that we get to do this, that we get to voluntarily, grow our bodies in this way. And it really is just a humbling experience that we get to do this. So it's never about, 'cause you'll hear people say, oh, they're suffering on contest prep. And I think that's just the wrong mindset to have. It's not a suffering. You chose this, so you don't have to do it. So if you're miserable and, go take up a sport that doesn't require you to diet. I don't know what to tell you, but
Yeah,
it's like,
honestly, it's a mental battle, but at the same time, my mental health got so much better because, I used to be fat and I used to be skinny. So I've been skinny and fat. So I've been bullied both ways, made fun of. So I feel like now when I get comments and stuff of people like congratulating me and stuff, it just makes me feel so much more confident, so much better about myself.
I was gonna say, it's got to feel
It
good.
gives you a whole new mindset too.
Absolutely. And especially watching your body change, and you at a young age, you're going to change a lot faster, in these early stages. I mean, so to see those, to see your pictures from the show and go, wow, I look like that. Like, that's insane. Just to see it with the tan and the lighting, and, you can really see, there he is, Mr. Top Gun, the Maverick himself up there. But it's like, to see the culmination of all your hard work, and there's no greater feeling than that. And then to know that it only gets better, because, in this sport of, natural drug-free bodybuilding, the peak is way down the line. I'm not even close to my peak yet. And, like I said, I'm still 27, very young in this sport. I consider myself very young in this sport. I'm going to go up against guys at the King's Cup that have been training longer than I've been alive. Like, that's insane to me. Like, that's crazy, but it's an honor, so you being 14, like, dude, it's so bright. It's so bright ahead of you. Like,
Yeah, I got so much time, so much more milestones to pass, so many
Stay natty.
like
yeah, stay the way, man. You made the right choice here. I wish I found drug tested competition first. Now I will say, hindsight's always 20/20, but in doing those 2 NPC shows right off the bat really gave me a good perspective as far as, what I should be looking for in terms of comparative competition. But, just being able to find this right off the bat for you, I'm glad you had the first show experience that you did, because if there is one, we can't have any regrets because, life happens. But if there is one true regret for me, I wish I had a better first show story, because I think your first show story blows everybody out of the water. And I wish I had a better first show story. So I'm kind of jealous that, of your first show experience there, because, I look back to my first show and it's like, I didn't have that much fun, really. Like, it wasn't, it wasn't all that, just due to the experience. And, like you said, the way Brian, the promoter for the Windy City Natural, took care of you there and really lifted your spirits. Like, you it's a whole community, and you really felt that from the natural bodybuilding side. So,
Yeah.
and it's like that anywhere you go, organization to organization, promoter to promoter. I always say follow your promoters, not necessarily your organizations, because, you compete where you're going to compete, but I always say follow the people that are the ones loving bodybuilding and the ones putting on good stuff. And Brian definitely does that. And there's plenty more out there, but just making, you're part of the family now, man. So
Yes.
we're not letting you leave. So you're part of the family.
Yeah. Yeah. And it was so many incredible competitors at that show. I was looking at his IG account, and I knew the people that he was following must have been people that he crossed paths with. And yeah, what a great, like you said, Joe, what a great opportunity to have your first show. I mean, even Eric Murphy was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like there was just so many big names and so many athletes that had traveled from out of state that were at that event. So very cool. You guys, this was so much fun, and I'm not cutting you off by any means, but I just want to let you know from my side how excited I am that you two have had a chance to talk, and just listening to the conversation that you guys are having. I love it, and I think our viewers do too. Lots of comments. If you guys aren't reading them, you'll have to go back and watch it. It looks like your mom is watching, Joe.
Oh, hi, Mama.
She says she's very proud of you.
Hi, Joe's mom.
A lot of good family support, and that's another thing as well. Is through the years, my mother's now started to compete. My wife has done a couple shows now, so really it's become kind of a total family endeavor. And I think that's another thing that doesn't get talked about enough as well, is just, getting a good support team around you and making sure your support team is really solid, because it does make things so much easier when you have people around you. Because competing in the past, I had girlfriends that, didn't understand what I was doing, or didn't really support what I was doing, or tried to pull me away from, my meals or my training, or try to, get into that time. And it's a recipe for failure. Obviously with any relationship or any family endeavor, there's going to be balance. Any friendship, there's going to be compromise. Relationships, same thing. But having people around you that support you 100%, and they may not fully understand at all times, but will at least have your back and know, that you need to do this. And it makes life so much easier to have that good support network around you.
Yeah, I feel like that's not talked about enough. Like, there's so many people that try to put you down, but if you have a right group of friends that really push you to be better, I feel like that can really affect your future.
Absolutely, and it makes a difference when you're prepping for a show, because I'm sure you can resonate as well, having gone through your first prep. You're in your own head all day long. Because you're constantly thinking, am I going to be ready? Am I going to be lean enough? When's my next meal? When's my next training session? When's this? When's that? And that's why I say bodybuilding is a 24/7 sport, because your mind is just constantly going. It's not like another sport where, like I said, you practice and then you leave practice and practice is done. Okay, you may do some recovery stuff, but you can switch off. Bodybuilding, it's really hard to switch off. And I think with having a good support system around you, they can allow you to do that. I guess to kind of dive a little bit more personally into me, this year my wife is pregnant, so we're gonna have a baby at the end of January. So in about 4 months or so. And people have asked me, what's it like prepping with a pregnant wife? And I said, honestly, nothing's easier, because I've been so invested in what she needs. The bodybuilding stuff is just kind of running in the background. It's just sort of background music right now. So the training happens, the meals happen, it's just on autopilot and it's just going. But my mind is so focused on other things. And I've had years where bodybuilding was the only thing going on in my life. And the preps were hell, because I just thought about bodybuilding 24/7. It's like, oh my God, when is this damn show going to get here? Now I'm like, Sammy said, hey, the King's Cup's not this Saturday, next Saturday. I'm like, you're right. Like, I got to compete next weekend, and it just happens, So when you have other stuff going on, for me, it honestly makes life easier, because, like I said, bodybuilding then becomes I said this in a quote on my Instagram caption last night. Bodybuilding then becomes the harmony, not the melody. So it's not the main thing that's going on. It's just something that kind of blends in with the rest of your life. And I feel like once you start to figure out that balance of things, it makes life a lot easier.
For me,
love
I
that.
really love the struggle, honestly. I love like seeing myself push past those hard moments and those points because, you know, I used to be so lazy. Like my grandma once told me this story. She keeps bringing it up. Like a couple years ago, I wanted to go to McDonald's and they live right across the street from McDonald's. We were walking and I passed by two houses and I'm already tired. And we went back because I was too lazy to walk a couple houses to McDonald's.
Oh no.
So I just love seeing myself like push past these harder points now because you know that's something I didn't have the discipline to do before.
For sure. Yeah, seeing yourself grow to this point where, you know, like you said, you know, having that lazy story, and I'm sure your grandma never let you. She's never gonna let you forget that one. By the way, yeah, that's gonna be with you for life. But you know, to see yourself transform now, and I do love that struggle aspect of it too, because you know, as we referenced earlier with my whole logbook system, my training, it's a handwritten, ratty, you know, rip torn corner composition notebook, you know, and scratch with pen, and it's like, okay, I look back and see I got, you know, 8 reps on something with this weight last week. It's like, okay, you know, all right, maybe not right now because I'm, you know, almost, you know, too close to a show. You know, I'm definitely trying to maintain that strength, but you know, I'm gonna say, all right, you got to keep your form the same and get 9 this time, like, or else, you know. So it's like for that set, it's game on, you know, and you got to go. And you know, like I said, I highlighted keeping form the same because a lot of people just move weight faster and think that's another rep, and that's a whole other side topic. But um, you know, it's just I love that battle for that new rep or that new PR, you know, that new weight, because that's, you know, again, keeping form the same. If you get stronger and do more weight for more reps, you're gonna have some new muscle tissue by the end of that. It's a pretty, you know, it's not that cut and dry, but bodybuilding is kind of cut and dry. You know, you know, if you get stronger over time and your technique stays the same or gets better, you're gonna have some more muscle, and
Yeah,
that's a fact.
right before this I was lifting and one of my gym bros, his name's Gino. Every time like I want to give up, like, you know, I'm about to finish my set and he's like, I lost to this guy named Kyle Collins. Every time my gym bro keeps bringing him up, he's like, I bet Kyle would have done 14.
So he's
So I
hanging
gotta
that
push
over your
past and
head.
just like get those last 2 reps. I'm like going at it.
I love that. I love that. Nothing like a little, you know, a little friendly competition to kind of fuel the fire. You know, that always helps. You know, you know, scrolling through Instagram, you know, we'll see competitors that I know I'm going against. And I'm like, you know, it used to be a standpoint of, you know, and I definitely preach this to the younger crowd as well, as not comparing yourself to other people because, you know, for one, social media is a highlight reel, and 2, you know, everybody, just like you, just like me, just like Sammy, we all only post our best photos for the most part. Like, so everybody's going to look good on Instagram, and it's not an Instagram contest. It's, you know, you can compare it on a bodybuilding stage, but, you know, I'll scroll through and it used to be something like, you know, I try to like analyze their photo and be like, oh, I could beat them, this, that, and the third. But now I scroll through and I see, you know, competitor who shall remain nameless. Because I was told if I say his name, I'm in trouble. So even called out can't get this one. This is lock and key. I see him and I see his photo. I'm like, damn, he looks good. All right, back to work. So I'm like, I gotta make sure I'm on my BS now because he looks really good, and so does everybody else. And once you look at it that way, it also becomes easier to digest. It was actually a funny conversation I had with my mother.
You just got a
for
compliment on your A
Oh.
and BF shirt, Joe.
Let's go. I would turn around, but I'm going to mess up my headphones. But it's the ultimate natural bodybuilding experience. But anyway, I digress. Funny story from my mom. The first time she did her first show, we get backstage and she's looking around and she looks terrified, looks nervous to the core. And I look at her, I'm like, you know, you good? What's going on? She goes, yeah, everybody looks really good. And I looked her dead in the face and said, you're at a bodybuilding show. I was like, did you expect everybody to look like crap? Like what did you expect? And like we kind of had a laugh about it, and then she calmed down. But it was like, once you realize that, look, everybody's gonna look great backstage, so do you. Like, you belong here. So once you get that across your skull, that everybody's gonna look damn good, and everybody's gonna look damn good on IG too, because like I said, everybody posts their best stuff, and everybody's in the same endeavor, so everybody's gonna look good. So do you. They're looking at your picture saying the same thing, going, damn, he's making some good progress. I got to get my ass back to the gym.
Yep.
Yeah, I got one question for you. So you say you own a gym, right?
I do, yes.
Is there like an age, a certain age you got to be to join?
Typically we go, I've let as young as actually 12 join before. Now granted, I met with them and they're, working out with a parent, at least in the beginning. And then once I, was able to see, because we're a privately owned gym, mom and pop kind of style. So, I know everybody that comes in the door. So it's not a scenario where, something can get by. So it was somebody that wanted to bring in their son, and they were 12, and say, hey, bring them on in. Let's try it out. See how they do. They've been begging their dad to come to the gym. So heck, let's try it out. That's about
that was one of the reasons why I wasn't able to start lifting at a gym, is because most gyms wouldn't accept me because I was 12,
too
13.
young. Yeah.
Most gyms were like 14, 16, 18. So I wasn't able to join any gym until I found one of the local gyms, the community center, was letting me in at 13.
That's awesome.
And so I was able to join that gym.
Yeah, and honestly, and I like the culture that we have anyway. It's like I said, more of a mom and pop style, so everybody supports everybody, and we're not a bodybuilder gym by any means, even though I'm a bodybuilder that owns it. But we've got everybody from bodybuilders to just the older population likes to do their classes, or I'm just about self betterment. So anybody that wants to better themselves and wants to train with a purpose, I'm here for it. But I'm happy that you were able to kind of get in somewhere and now, be a part of a gym community, because it really is, like no other. I know some people that do the home thing or that have outfitted their homes, but there's just something about the gym vibe that's just, it's always going to remain special to me. And, it's not only from a physical standpoint of obviously the amount of equipment that you can house, but from a mental aspect as well. There's nothing like that gym camaraderie.
Like I've met so many gym bros that I've lifted with and I've spent so much time with, that like they're so much older than me and they know so much more than me, but I've learned from them all and I've put it all into my own routine. So like my gym bro, Nathan, he just left to college, so I can't lift with him, but I just want to give him a shout out. I feel like I've based all my workouts off of his routines.
Shout out to Nathan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's just it. And it's kind of funny you say that, because I have a group of, and it's actually my employees at the gym, that are now my, they're almost like my little brothers at this point. And I always joke with them that I look at them and I'm like, look, if your physique doesn't look better than mine, I'm saying this now, when you're 27, we got problems, because I'm giving you all this knowledge to help you not make the same mistakes I did. You better be on your stuff. So the fact that you have that and you have a good community of people like Nathan and other, older people around you that have kind of taken you under their wing, that's all, dude. Soak all that in and just learn. Like I said, the day you stop learning is the day you stop growing. So just
one day
soak all that up.
One day I traded my cutoff with him, and he gave me two of his stringers. So now I gotta fill them out.
You do.
That's my goal.
You do. I love that. That's so cool. Yeah, somebody gives you a shirt that's too big and then you have to fill it out. I remember that actually happened to me from a show promoter. They only had XLs left, and this is back in my men's physique days, and I did not fill out an XL left. And I said, give it to me. I said, I'm gonna fill that out in a couple of years, and here we go. So yeah, it's always fun to have the baggy shirts, and then it's like you got to chase to fill that out now.
Mm-hmm. What are you wearing now? Like a double XL?
Dude, no, I ain't. Trust me, it's all an illusion. It's all an illusion. No, this is just but the AMBF, shameless plug to the AMBF once again. They do have some very, very nice fitting T-shirts, and if you compete with the AMBF, this ends up in your goodie bag. So it's like, how could you not? You get some T-shirts,
Do they have like an age
some sub
thing I
swag.
gotta beat?
Can't chime in the comments. Help me out.
The president of the AMBF is actually watching.
He's watching, so he should be able to help us out. I believe you'd be able to compete in teen category. I hope just with a little parent release. Maybe I'm speaking for him, but
Yeah, I would say
Ken,
that's
help us out.
probably a yes.
Get this man on an AMBF stage. We need the Top Gun routine on the AMBF stage because, like I said, the AMBF scores routines, and you
Hold
come out
on.
in those shades.
We got to show Ken. There we go.
Yeah, you come out in those shades, dude. You are getting the bonus points for your routine. Like it's a given. It's
Coming soon to an ANBF stage. You already know.
yeah.
Filipino Z's.
13
Yeah.
plus. 13 plus. You're
13
in.
plus, you're in. Let's
I'm
go.
in. Let's go.
Heck yeah, man. We're getting you on an AMBF stage to come next year. Whenever you decide to compete again. Like I said, that's your choice. I'm not going to push you to a stage. But, when you decide to compete again, and try all the organizations out. That's what I tell people, too. Like, we're all one big family. Even though you might see a lot of different organizations and, some might say something about another one or this, that, and the third. Look, you gotta try it out. Try everybody.
Yeah.
Compete around you. If you like to travel,
Local.
drive to some shows, experience it all, man. We're all one big family when it comes to natural bodybuilding. I will say
As a
that.
natural, would you ever recommend trying out an NPC or trying to get a Ifbb pro card?
I will say, so last year I did do an NPC show. So I'll give you a brief touch on my experience with that. I placed second in my open class. I lost to a gentleman that also happened to win the light heavyweight bodybuilding, which light heavyweight bodybuilding cutoff's 198. So this man outweighed me by a lot. And he also was able to squeeze down in the classic. So I got second and handily got second. There was no way I was out muscling this guy. So that's first and foremost. What I will say is the time on stage. So when I did that NPC show, because of the size of the shows, and granted they're very competitive, but it was quarter turn, gone. It was very quick. I was on stage for probably cumulatively for the prejudging minute and a half tops. It was very, very fast. And I'm sure you can recollect to the Windy City. What were you on stage? 8 to 10 minutes, probably in comparisons.
Probably around that, but I was backstage for a long time.
Oh yeah, you're backstage for a while, but I mean time actually in front of the judges competing.
Yeah,
that was 7 to 10 minutes, I would presume.
Yeah.
And that's what you're gonna get from the natural side of the sport is, because our shows are a little bit more niche and a little bit, different scale, you're going to get more comparative time on stage, which I think is one of the most valuable things especially a new competitor and just a competitor in general. And then you work your way up to like the pro ranks. The AMBF just had a pro show in Tampa, and I was looking at that, obviously as like kind of scouting out, what the pro bodybuilding was looking like, because that's the class I compete in, and they had them on stage for 25 minutes.
Easy.
I'm not kidding. At least 25 minutes for comparisons alone. And like as an athlete and as a competitor, don't you want to be like compared for a long period? Don't you want to battle it out? Like, don't you want to have at it?
Honestly, right after comparisons, I was sweating so much, my tan was dripping.
Oh yeah, you'll get better.
25 minutes, I would be in touch-ups for a while.
You'll work up to that. You work up to that kind of thing.
Touch-ups. I love the lingo. I love it.
Exactly. And one of the things I always tell competitors to practice with too is like put a show on in the background on YouTube and practice your posing to that. That's the best way to practice posing, man, is to hear it, being called out by another judge, and then you can practice your posing that way. So that's not a little like kind of side tip, but I just I look at the natural side of the sport as, and the natural drug test side of the sport, it's the most level playing field you're going to get because everybody's tested, whether the organization does polygraphs or urinalysis, whatever they choose to do, there's going to be testing involved. And you'll hear people say all the time that, people can sneak by this, that, and the third, but are they really going to jump through all those hoops to do that? Or are they just going to go compete in the NPC? And even if they do, drug tests are really good nowadays as far as like full panel urinalysis. They're going to get caught. and they're going to get banned. Like they're not going to make it through. And even at that, a lot of people that are trying to do that usually don't have that good of a physique anyway that I've seen that are trying to beat drug tests. They usually end up getting beat by good natties. And then it's like, well, you took stuff and still lost. So get out of here. So to me, I'd rather have the longer time on stage. I'd rather have the exposure, from the natural bodybuilding side of things, because, to me, I don't see a feasible career path, going the NPC IFBB Pro League route. And that's just me personally. Everybody has to make their own decision. But to me, I don't see the feasible route. To me, it wouldn't make competing as enjoyable, because now I know I'm going to get that long time on stage. I know I'm going to go up against dudes that, we're going down the same path, because, the other side, I call it untested. So I'm not going to, because there are naturals that compete within the NPC, but you don't know. So, and that uncertainty is, it is what it is. But I much prefer getting that long-term time on stage and getting to share that experience with, what I know is people walking the same line.
Yeah, so I was taught posing by Brandon, aka the Predator.
Yeah.
And honestly, I couldn't believe that he was a natty. I was like, "Are you sure?"
No, and some top naturals, you'll see them, and they'll make you scratch your head. I mean, they really will. Some of the best of the best, they really will make you scratch your head. And a lot of people will say different things about them. They'll post a video on Instagram or TikTok, and you'll get a bunch of trolls in the comments that'll say, "Oh, they're claiming natty and they're not." It's like, no, I've I've watched that guy pee in a cup. He is natty, I promise. It's remarkable to see what the human body is capable of. And I also look at it, from that side of things. There's Brandon, fantastic poser. I mean, look at that physique. Like, and a lot of people on the internet don't know what's achievable naturally too. They don't understand that you can build such a good body naturally. Like they don't know. They think that you have to take something in order to be an elite level physique. And it's just not the case. It just maybe takes a little bit longer, but isn't that journey all worth it? Like, doesn't that make it, much sweeter once you reach a spot of where you're like, damn, I built this, But obviously we're never satisfied. We want to keep going for more. And that's kind of where I'm at. It's like, I can look at my stage pictures now and go, damn, I look good, but I want more, and that journey is all worth it to me. It makes it so much worth it. And again, this goes without saying, but from the long-term health perspective, I talked about it earlier that I want my kids and my grandkids to see me compete. And, I think walking down that line, presents a problem for that. Whereas, staying on the natural and tested side of things, makes it much more prevalent, much more likely that's going to happen.
Yeah, like there was a point last year when I was a lot more bulky where people were just like accusing me of gear like left and right. Like at one point I was literally being called the SARM goblin by like every kid.
I hate it. I hate the culture that does that. And it's only because you achieved results faster than them. So they immediately have to diminish you, because you applied yourself. Imagine that you applied yourself to a training and nutrition regimen and got faster results than them because you actually applied yourself. But, now you'll be taken down. So, it does kind of sting. I look at it more so now as a kind of a backhanded compliment. Like if somebody comments, not natty on one of my things, it's like, okay, you think I have something that's, not achievable without drugs? Thank you. Like I appreciate that. But it is sad to see the lack of education. Like I said, people don't realize that you can build something so good without the use of enhancements. And I think it's our job as athletes to educate them on that. And I think that's why we have, these platforms like this and, Sammy and others to broadcast athletes to, be able to show people this is possible.
Yeah, I kind of prepped in silent, like kind of like Jesse James West, if you know who he is. I didn't really talk much about it, but people kind of just thought I lost muscle. People were like, "You're just deflated." I was like, I'm working towards something. I just don't want to let everyone know yet because
Right, you're
I feel
staying
like
in your
people are gonna
zone.
try to mess it up if I tell them about my prep. People are gonna be like, "Come on, have a cookie, have a bite of this."
Yeah, they're going to try to derail you because, you know, a lot of it's going to sound cliche, but a lot of people don't want to see others succeed,
Yeah,
and that's a shame, and that's why, what we touched on earlier, having a good support system really does help. People that genuinely want to see you excel and want to see you succeed, and having that really is so important because people will try to derail you, whether it be consciously or subconsciously, and that stinks. But it's just about kind of weeding out some of that, and
And you have to use it as fuel.
yeah, it's a great point.
yeah. I feel like a lot of people don't believe how far I've come because like this is how I used to look. Like
Oh,
I was not very
Let's see here.
Oh my goodness. Dude, it looks like a totally different person. Are you serious?
yeah.
That's not you. Are you?
Even my face, like I had like a double chin,
Yeah,
everything. I had acne all over. It was a mess.
dude, that's a totally different human. Like, I don't think
Yeah.
you even
Especially like I
like,
was really shy. I had no confidence. I was really lazy, like I said. Honestly, it changed my life. Like whole new
wow.
lifestyle.
Yeah, I think that's, yeah, go ahead, Sammy. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say we're really glad that you found this sport and that kind of positivity has come out of it all. I think that's incredible.
Yeah, and I can't wait for the long journey ahead of me too. I mean, sooner or later, it's just gonna get better.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it don't, dude, the sky is the limit for you. It really is. The sky is the limit.
Absolutely. Yeah, and I love that you started in classic. It wasn't even like men's physique. Like
Yeah,
so
my
you
mom wanted me to
must
do men's physique actually, and but I because I feel like I was connected to classic because of Chris Bumstead, who was one of my like biggest inspirations. And I feel like classic really brought back like the golden age, and honestly, I felt like that would be my home.
Love that. Love that. I always tell people you go through all the hard training and dieting, you have to compete in the class that you resonate the most with. And oftentimes that's also where your body tends to fit the best, which is just kind of one of those, coincidental facts of things, is that what you resonate with will also be what reflects on your physical appearance. But if you're going to do all this hard work anyway, you have to go with the class that really hits here the most. So
Yeah,
I love
I
that
feel
you
like I
did
also
that.
love the posing too.
Yeah.
The
Now
posing classic, honestly, just my favorite.
So we've had Greg watching this entire live stream, and he said, David, you have me all amped up. He's like, keep it up. The people watching are really, and Andy said he's already followed you. So you are creating
Thanks,
some new
Greg. Make
fans
sure to follow you back.
yeah, and even inspiring, some of the veterans here in the sport. So I love that.
Oh yeah. It's a wonderful community we have. It really is. And I feel blessed to be a part of it. Honestly, very grateful to be part of this community and be able to, now do this and be in a place where, we can have you on and kind of, chat with your early experiences. Like I said, I wish I'm so jealous of your first show experience. I wish I had that, like, community, in the natural drug tested setting to welcome me in. So this has been a real treat.
Yeah, I feel like it was really a great home for me, and I really hope to see everybody again because I'm for sure doing next year's show.
Nice. Now we'll be all, dude. We're following close now. Like we're be checking in on you, making sure you're doing what needs to be done to bring an improved David next time around, because that's what it's about. It's about bringing a better you next time. You can't control who shows up or what happens.
Hey, you
All you
trying to
can
come to
control is
the
you,
Windy City show? I feel like you
dude.
could do some damage. Sure.
I would love to, but next year's probably gonna be an off year for me with that baby coming. So
Yeah.
unless wife's watching, I don't. No, she's downstairs somewhere. We have to talk about that one because I may be, I'm actually doing 4 shows in total this year
Wow.
in preparation for not competing next year. So we're gonna have to see on that one. But I would love to get out there to the Windy City. I love the I always love promoters. This is kind of a side note, but I love promoters that do cool awards. and I love the belts that come from the Windy City.
Yeah.
I just think it's cool. I love belts. I love the swords. Like I love when promoters put that little extra something on their shows. And the Windy City's known for those belts, man. I was like, oh, those look nice. Like I want one of those.
They
you know,
do.
so it makes me want to come to Chicago just to throw my hat in the ring for a belt, man.
Yeah, you said you're doing 4 shows this year, right?
Yes, sir. Yep.
That's crazy. I know I only did 1 show and I felt all tired. There's this one competitor, I think her name was Christina. She did like 3 shows in a row, like right after. And I was like really impressed by that kind of stuff. People that can do more than 1 show, just.
Oh, she is watching.
Oh, I'm okay with it. Are you reading
Ooh.
that right? Am I reading that right?
We do. We have a green light from the wife. So
Hey,
maybe
it
it
can
will
be your
see me
baby's
next
first
year.
show to watch, you know.
It could be. Yeah. Kids got to travel. So, we got to get her acclimated to some new places and whatnot.
Yeah.
So might see us as a city near you next year. I don't know. We're going to see how I feel after this marathon of this year, though. We're going to, I really got to do some,
I know 2 of the
reflecting after
shows
that.
you're doing. What are the other 2? Just curious.
So we have King's Cup. I'll give you the rundown of the schedule. Yeah, King's Cup with the AMBF, September 24th. After that, 2 weeks later, we have Mr. America here in Atlantic City, down in beautiful South Jersey. That's October 8th.
Okay.
8th. Yep. Okay. Get my numbers right. 2 weeks after that, also in New Jersey, we're trying to keep travel to somewhat of a minimum with Nicole being pregnant. So it was kind of scouting out the states from Jersey. So we have the IMBF Battle for Broadway,
Nice.
put on by Nancy Andrews, Dwayne Broadway of the IMBF, WMBF. Now with transitioning to bodybuilding, they don't have classic physique. They don't offer it as a division. So they just have bodybuilding and men's physique. So I'm really looking forward to, competing with them and giving their shows a shot. I competed with them years ago in men's physique and haven't been back with them since, but now doing bodybuilding. It's like, why not? And then very close to my father, actually down in Florida, there is the USBF Florida Fury, promoted by Quintarius Wilson. So that is in Coral Springs, which is 40 minutes from my father. So I saw that, saw the date, saw the timeline. It's November 12th. And I'm like, hey, I could stay with Pops. I can compete, see my family down there. And that's going to be my kind of like end to the season. So I'll end it in the Sunshine State.
Yeah, I was saying, don't forget the sunshine. So that's
exactly.
Great.
It's like it'll be just starting to get cold in Jersey because it's November. And we're just going to, take a little quick weekend trip to Florida, hit a show, hit some real good food after that, because at that point there's no more shows on the schedule, and we could chill out, relax, and enjoy some sun, enjoy some food, and and then that'll be it for the year. But really excited. Some new organizations for me. USBF, never competed with them either. Because again, they didn't have classics, so when they kind of resurfaced, I didn't really hit any of their shows. But Quintarius Wilson goes by Q. I just been seeing what he's doing.
Yes.
Puts on amazing shows. So I really wanted to give him a shot there. So looking forward to it. It's a good schedule ahead. What is he saying? Better not forget what.
Sunscreen. Don't forget your sunscreen.
Of course. No, I'll have show tan on. So I don't know if sunburn can get me through show tan. But.
He's just mad that you're not coming to Key West.
Oh, what did you say? How long does it take?
How long does it take for you to get rid of show tan? For me, it is not coming off.
Usually about a week to 10 days, I can get it off. As you can see, I'm pretty pale, so it hangs around for a little while.
I got blotches and all that stuff. Like I'm trying to rub it off. Yeah,
it'll stick, but that honestly means like if it sticks, it means you did the right thing with your skin prep. Because
the Jersey Viking.
Viking.
The Jersey Viking.
Yeah,
that might stick if you keep that beard.
Daryl, I think I kind of like that one. I'll have to come out into some Viking style music here. I don't know. I'm thinking, that might work. But
creativity.
Yeah, that'd be something.
There's the personality in it.
Come out in the Viking hat and have like an axe or something. There we go. I could rock with that. But
as a men's physique competitor before, did you ever have to like like not care about legs? Because if you were
Oh
wearing board
no,
shorts,
no, dude, I always did legs. I come from actually a martial arts background before bodybuilding. Um, so legs were something I always, I mean, we did like conditioning work for legs anyway. So, when I found the gym, I actually can accredit this big time to my two older stepbrothers. They're my brothers to me, though. I don't like using the word step. They're my brothers. And both very nationally competitive speed skaters. So in the time I was getting, legs were huge. So like I always wanted big legs because they had big legs and they were strong and they could squat a lot of weight. And I was like, all right, I gotta hang with the big boys here. So amidst all of that, legs was always something I trained hard. And that's kind of what led me out of men's physique was like, okay, this is a developed body part for me. I need to show it off. So that's what got me to classic.
I've realized that with a lot of competitors, like the pros, I realized a lot of them had like really developed legs, but they were all being covered. So I feel like that's something that should change eventually. But
it could be, yeah. I've always thought like maybe like a slightly shorter board short that maybe comes up like half the leg. That could be something that we could look into. But you can tell the guys to train legs in men's physique, and it just looks better. When their board shorts are filled out versus you see some guys with board shorts and they're super baggy, and you can kind of like see a lot of space between their knees and the board shorts. It doesn't look good. So their physiques are very complete, and a lot of the guys that I know have good legs that stay in men's physique, stay in it just from they like the coolness factor of men's physique. They like that men's health cover model feel of it. So trust me, a lot of them train legs really, really hard. A lot of them have great legs and could do classic or could do bodybuilding. But, like I said, from the, category of, or picking the category that resonates the most with you, at the end of the day, you got to do what you love. So I know a lot of those guys just love men's physique from the, the posing aspect and just the, that coolness factor of it. And it just fits their vibe. And that's what maybe they don't want to do a most muscular, or they don't want to do an ab and thigh on stage, and that's cool. Like that's why we have all the categories,
Yeah, we have Ishal with the legs.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Eric's legs are jacked. He crossed over to classic and placed second to the Orton Cup champ. So like, and that's the other thing too. I think we put a lot of emphasis on categories and what division everybody competes in. It's like, especially in the natural drug tested level, there's less of a size discrepancy between all the physiques. Because we're doing this from a natural drug-free standpoint. So I think, look, if you want to cross over between, who's to say I might not, do classic again next year? Like, I'm not going to write that off. If you ask me right now, yeah, I'm staying in bodybuilding because that's what I'm really enjoying right now. But, who's to say I might not go back and try classic again? Like, I'm not going to write that out. Is it doubtful? Yeah. Like, I think I'm going to stay in bodybuilding. I really like, hitting all the different mandatories, and I really like how I look in the bodybuilding division. I think that's where I see myself long term. It's probably where I should have been a few years ago, and Ken will argue that point till he's blue in the face, but because he's a bodybuilding homer. But that is what it is. I found it now, but I'm not going to write off other categories just because. So if you decide you want to try men's physique, or you decide you want to try bodybuilding, go for it.
So how long do you think you want to compete for? Like lifetime?
Lifetime. I don't want to stop. It's honestly the greatest feeling.
You're coming for that title soon.
Dude,
Oh.
I would be honored. I want you right next to me.
I want this to come full circle. That would be epic.
Dude, if we could, imagine having this conversation in a year or two, we're sharing the stage together. Like that would be so cool. Like,
can't wait, bro. I can put on weight pretty fast, but cutting always comes a little bit slower for me, so hey, I can't wait to get big.
Hell yeah. No, it's just, and it's over time, and it's just, it's a long-term game. Don't rush the process, just trust the process, and, keep it rolling, man. But I fully expect to be, elbow to elbow with you one day on stage. But, as of right now, I'm in bodybuilding. It means you got to get some smaller trunks and come on up, man. So you gotta ditch the classic trunks and come full swing to the bodybuilding side of things. So
what kind of trunks you wear? Just like plain black, or I know some people got like.
Oh, you got the cool colors now. That's the fun part about bodybuilding. You get to add some flair to it, So I I got a couple of different cool ones for. I still haven't fully decided what I'm going to wear for the King's Cup, which is next Saturday, not this one. I'm gonna let the wife decide what color trunks I should wear. So I'm gonna let the missus pick them out and see what I should be donning on that stage there. But
You got green.
I got a couple pairs. Yeah.
I feel like a sparkly green would look nice, kind of like Big Ramy this year.
It could, yeah. And I'm from South Jersey. I'm an Eagles fan, so I got some Philly green on me. So, that's all I'm gonna say there. I got some Philly green coming. So, but I got 4 shows. I could wear different trunks at every show. So that's the other thing too. Classic, it's all black trunks. It's like, all right, that is what it is. Bodybuilding, you get some cool colors going. You get some different style, different patterns. It's a different sheen to them. So. Bodybuilding, man, it's calling your name maybe a few years down the road. You never know.
Have you ever slipped while hitting a pose?
Absolutely.
On your team?
Absolutely. Now, I might be the only one to know about it, but, yeah, if you slip, you got to just keep moving on.
I was going for a kind of a very unconventional, one of those Icarus pose style things.
Yeah.
And while I was getting down on my knees, I kind of tripped, but I kind of brought it into the flow of it, so it looked kind of like it was part of the routine. But nobody knew except for my parents that I was tripping all over the stage.
That's
exactly.
Right.
Yep. No, I had a moment like that last year at the King's Cup for my bodybuilding routine. The only person that caught it was my wife. She saw it because when we talked about it backstage afterwards, she's like, "Did you trip when you were transitioning into that mantis pose?" I was like, "Yep." I was like, I hope nobody else saw that, but I think it was just you. And I talked to a couple of people, and they didn't see it. So I'm like, all right, good. It didn't affect my score, so we're fine. But yeah, it happens. You did the right thing there. You just got to move on.
Yeah. I feel like just sudden trips and stuff. I feel like you can make that part of the flow of a classic physique style routine. We got a lot of dancing going around.
Absolutely, yeah, and that's what keeps it fun. Honestly, is having that flair to your routines, and best. But my routines definitely incorporate a lot of classic posing in them because I still, I still have those bits of classic physique kind of, even though it's the bodybuilding division per se. When it comes routine time, I start pulling out the 3/4 back pose, or I'll start pulling out the kneeling stuff, the lunging poses, the vacuum, so different stuff comes out then in my routine because that's just a personal expression of me and also what I know I can hit. A lot of guys will try to do poses because they're copying someone else, like I talked about before. It's like you got to do the poses that work best for your body.
Yeah, you've dominated the whole bodybuilding in itself. You've done every class, you've done so many divisions, so many different federations. What's next?
I take it as a learning experience though, and it's helped me now become a better, I think, and I'm grateful to say, an ambassador for the sport, because I do have a lot of anecdotal experience in it, and it helps me be a better coach, for my clients, because now, if they have questions about men's physique or classic physique or bodybuilding posing, I've done it all. So now I can help them in preparation to be the best version of themselves because I've done it. And it's just an evolution, as you go about. You might stay in classic physique forever. You might switch to men's physique. You might switch to bodybuilding.
That's the goal.
I'm just going with the flow, man. It really is it. I actually didn't decide full tilt that I was going to do just bodybuilding this year until 6 weeks ago or so, and that's honest to God a fact. I'll have to look to see when I called Mark Torriello to say switch my name from classic to bodybuilding. Because I still actually I have the text, and then he called me, said, "What's going on here?" And then we talked about it, and he's like, "Okay, I'll put your name in bodybuilding." But I was only going to do the King's Cup in bodybuilding, and I said, "What am I doing? I'm loving this. Why not do it? Why not do everything in bodybuilding? Why not just send it?" So, it's just going with the flow and making sure you're having fun with it, man. It really is it.
Yeah, what do you think about divisions being erased? Because I know I'm pretty sure I heard about the Arnold erased, getting rid of women's physique.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you think if like classic was or men's physique was removed from like the Arnold or from the Olympia, I feel like it would really ruin some people's chances because some people have been training for like specific groups, and
Absolutely.
I feel like that would really ruin their opportunities.
No, and when you think about that, I mean, obviously, that side of the sport, they do things from a different business perspective, and it's without being, I guess, fully invested in it, it's hard to say from lack of not knowing all the details. But you look at some of the natural organizations, as I mentioned prior, they only offer bodybuilding or men's physique. They don't offer classic physique. So you either have to pick going men's physique or pick bodybuilding. And for me, I used to pick men's physique in that regard because I didn't want to do bodybuilding. But now, you know, as I mentioned in my later show schedule, I'm hitting the bodybuilding circuit with those organizations. So it'll be interesting to see how my physique, compares. Maybe being, I guess a bit more on the classic side of things. Like I do think I present a classic look, but it's still bodybuilding at the end of the day. I might not be the greatest level of muscularity, but I know my symmetry is going to be on point. I know my posing is going to be on point. I know I'm going to bring good conditioning. So you have to play to your strengths. You have to bring and focus on bringing your best body. You can't try to, out muscle somebody if you don't have the muscle for it.
Yeah.
And you have to stay focused on bringing the best version of you per whatever category you want to go with.
I've seen your physique on some of like your posts and your like profile and stuff. Man, you're lights out. You got this, bro.
Thank you, brother. I really
Keep me
appreciate
updated.
that.
I gotta see this.
Absolutely. Next Saturday, man,
shows.
we got a live stream.
Yes.
Live stream for the King's Cup will be available via Facebook, ambfnatural.com. You can find it on there. So yeah, and you get to see some pro bodybuilding. That's fine, and you will see firsthand how long they have us up there for. I'm not lying about the whole 20 to 25 minutes thing. Like, you can time it. We will be up there for at least
That's
20
real
to 25
cardio.
minutes. Dude, well, that's what you got to practice, posing endurance too. Like,
Yeah.
a lot of people don't practice that level of endurance. I'll put a show on in the background, on YouTube that goes 20, 25 minutes, and I will pose along to it. So that way, when it comes showtime, I'm locked and loaded. You got to be ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely tune into the live stream.